Welcome to my class. Today we are going to discuss about the model building. This is under model number 5. This is a verification and validation of the simulation models. We will see the layout of the model building, how it is happening in the simulation concept. One of the most important definition in modeling and simulation is the definition of a system. So a system is defined as a potential source of a behavior, and it is observed when its behavior can be transformed into data. That is information. It will be transformed into the information. Knowledge about given systems can be acquired through the experiments. An experiment is defined as a process of causing by known stimuli and observing the behavior of the system. So it's nothing but to know the behavior of the system, we can say. The main thing we are going to see here is the observation of the real system, and it is going to determine its main components and how they interact with each other. And collection of data on system behavior, there are usually knowledge experts for one or more parts of the system who can provide insight and feedback on the modeling structure employed. So in other words, we can say given the inputs, the system outputs will be absorbed. So whatever the inputs we are giving, the same similar outputs we are getting. If for example different inputs we are giving, different outputs we will be getting. The concept of experimental frame refers to a limited set of circumstances under which a system is to be observed or subjected to the experimentation. As such, the experimental frame reflects the objectives of the experimenter who perform the experiments on a system. So this is the main concepts we can see. All the systems may roughly divided into two subclasses. One is well-defined systems and ill-defined systems. There is a fundamental problem in classifying the systems, and all the information of a system can only be given by the means of a model. So this is how extending model assignments, these are generally presented like that. And therefore, in order to classify, one has to define the properties of a model describing the system and solve this problem by defining epistemological levels at which the system may be observed and how the observations and records will be happening. The conceptual model should have enough detail to serve on the basis of development of the working simulation model. So we have like well-known classification. When we're talking about the well-known classification, we have the differential equation system and discrete system, discrete event system, all these things. Once a system is understood, it is possible to describe a conceptual model of the system. The conceptual model usually tries to capture the component elements of the system and data characteristics associated with it. So this is the thing. The process of model building we will see. First of all, iterative process. So the process of model building. So the process of model building consists of constant interaction between the information sources and the modeling activities. A schematic representation of the process of model building is given. So this may be concluded that all the activities have to be performed top down. So the model building process should be viewed as being iterative. The initial try at building a working simulation model may send the developer back to the conceptual model, and from there back to the real system to better elaborate parts that have not been closely enough described. The main thing is the interaction between the developer and the customer. So during the whole process of model building, there exists a constant interaction between the activities and information sources. To ensure an equal importance of each information source, the modeler must justify an activity by using all the information sources. So we have the information sources called three major informations like goal sources, a priori knowledge, and experimental data. All the three things which is included. The main ambition, what we can say in this, the goals and purpose of the model, we will see here. The goal and main purpose of the model user will orient the modeling process. The goal, for example, determine the complexity of the model. We can say first of all we have to analyze the real system. There is a prior knowledge available reflects the knowledge already gathered, and there is a prior knowledge often consists like Moss consideration law, and then this always be developed within a scientific things. So before coming to this thing, the analyst has to analyze with the existing one and then come for the process of a real system. So we have the calibration and validation, conceptual validation, and then model verification. So in this conceptual validation, we are going to assume the things. We are going to assume on the system components, and then we do have the structural assumptions and data assumptions, and there are the input and output transactions, and then component interactions. So in this model verification, we have the implementation. This is a computer related technique. computer based technique, we can say. So depending on the importance given to the prior knowledge and experimental data, two different modeling methodologies have been developed. One is deductive modeling and inductive modeling. So deductive modeling, it assumes a prior knowledge as a most important information source. Starting from the prior knowledge, a deductive modeler will develop a model by using the mathematical and logical deductions. So experimental data is only used to accept or reject the model or basis on the hypothesis testing, which we are going to apply in the input and output data distributions. So often a part of available data, this will be used to accept or reject the model or the hypothesis made during the modeling process. So both deductive modeling and inductive modeling have the fundamental problem with lack of prior knowledge. So what is a lack of prior knowledge? For example, if we have a constant information, if we don't have any constant information, and then we can't apply the assumptions on the system components. So this is one of the major drawback. A good mix may only be obtained by letting both the prior knowledge and the experimental data influence the whole process of model building. It defines a model formalism which can be used during both the modeling approaches. A step towards a more general formalism is a concept of uncertainty. We already discussed that is simulation and optimization. In simulation, what we can say, there is a decision variables. We can choose the decision variables, but in optimization there is an uncertainty in the objective. So now we will see the model verification. So activities we already saw. In this model verification, the answer to the question, does this make sense giving what I know about the conceptual model and the real world systems, is the one which is most important. So verification tactics we will see. Having the implementation presented to and checked by someone not directly involved in its development. Anyone can else check the things, and we are going to assume a flow diagram which is very easy to analyze the layouts or otherwise to determine if the model is taking all the possible actions in the course of error. Note that it is a critical when using components like extend, select, DE, output block, like that. So model outputs make sense for various combinations of possible configurations and input data, because we are going to assume the hypothesis testing on the input data distribution. So it is important in this instance that as much output of expected values can be STOMAC should be incorporated into the model. Most typically, long-run statistical measures that can be predicted at the various points in the model, like mean and deviation of time data, item counts, and elapsed time, that is particularly for catching the common mistake of using different time units in the model systems. Like what we can say is sometimes what will happen, the mean and variance might be too high or too low. This is one of the major drawback when generating the random numbers and all those things. So these are the various combinations of possible configurations and input data. One must have to understood the expected values to be incorporated into the model, and most typically the long run statistical measures have to be predicted at various points in the model. So we can use any kind of modeling techniques over here. Thank you.